Hello, hello. Andrew Glaser here from the Glaser Tutoring Company, and today I would like to teach you how to find the dimensions of a right circular cylinder. And the problem basically states that the radius and the height of this cylinder are going to differ by 1 meter. It says the radius is larger and the volume is going to be 48 pi cubic meters. So it wants to know basically what's the radius, what's the height. So first thing is you start with the picture of the cylinder and just label radius and height, just for right now. R and H. It says the radius and the height differ by 1 meter. And it says the radius is the larger value. So what that means is that what you can do in this problem is instead of calling it radius and height, which is fine, what you can do is you can call them both x. And the radius is going to be 1 meter bigger than the height. So if the height is x, then the radius better be the height plus 1. Okay? Now, this helps us because we have now the same variable that describes the radius and the height. And when we try to think of now a relationship between the radius, height, and volume, because somehow, just by knowing this we can't do anything, we realize that the volume of a right circular cylinder is equal to pi times the radius squared times height. So if I were to plug in the information, right, that the volume is going to be 48 pi, cubic meters, I'm leaving out the cubic meters because they're just units. Although some people get a little crazy about that. Just remember that it's in meters, okay? So we'll plug them in at the end if you need. Times then the radius we defined as going to be x plus 1. Now that's going to be squared times then the height of x. Now what you can do from this point is just simplify it, and let's just take a look. We'll take a step back and see what we got. All right, so this is going to be 48 is equal to x plus 1 squared times x. So this is going to work out to be a cubic, right? I mean, you have x squared and then multiplied by another x is going to work out to a cubic function. Now this can get a little bit messy to try to do this without the use of a calculator. It can be done, all right? And what you would do, I'm not going to do it though in this video because it's just going to take way too long. But what you can do is you can use something called the rational zero theorem. So what you would do is you would basically set this equal to 0. And then, actually I'm going to do that anyway to solve this problem. So just set it equal to 0. Okay, let's just rewrite it. X plus 1 squared times x minus 48. Then what you would do is you would kind of just FOIL this on out, square this out, blah, blah, blah. Get it down to something where it looks like, ax cubed, plus bx squared, whatever it's going to look like, okay? And then from there, you're going to use something known as the rational zero theorem. If you want to know how to apply that, I got a ton of videos out there. Just type in Glaser Tutoring rational zero theorem into Google and or in YouTube, and it'll come right up, all right? And you're just going to follow those steps outlined in that video. Very, very simple. Or if you're in the playlist here, it'll be in the playlist. Now, for this problem, though, I'm not going to do that because it's going to take us, like I said, like an hour and a half. Instead, I'm going to use the calculator. So set it equal to 0. And then what you're going to do is you're going to graph this part, the non-zero portion. So go to y equals. And you don't have to do anything. Just type it in. Just do parenthesis x plus 1 squared. Okay. Then do times x. And then do minus 48. Hit graph. So the benefit of doing this, and the benefit of basically any time you set an equation equal to 0, the solution for the variable is going to be the value of x where it intersects the x-axis. Okay? So right here, we can already basically see that it's going to be 3. All right? X should be equal to 3. But if you're not convinced, use the calc function here. Go second trace, scroll down to 0, and hit enter. This is going to calculate now that actual 0 value. So you're going to go left bound of the point. Now you know the point's about 3, so just stop at about 2. That's fine, because that's to the left. Then you know it's about 3, so you got to move it to the right, it says. So go to about 4, that's good. And then just make a guess. Just get it close. You don't have to be exact. Look, I'm pretty far. Watch. Boom. It calculates it for you. So it says that the x, when x is going to be 3, this whole function is going to be equal to 0. And you can plug it in. Plug it in. Plug in 3. Or just do it in your head. Just do it in your head, right? I was going to say mind, so I said I med or something. Anyway, I'm just learning how to speak. Sorry. So this is going to be 3 plus 1 is going to be 4. 4 squared is going to be 16, right? 16 then times 3 is going to be 48, and the minus 48, that's 0. There you go. You got it, right? So basically now what we found is x is equal to 3, and we said x is going to represent the height. So the height is 3. And if the height is 3, well, the radius has to be 1 bigger. So 4. And that's it. Now remember, these are meters if you want to use the units, but quite honestly, who cares? And you can also just double check yourself, right, by using the formula pi r squared h, right? The radius is 4 squared times the height, which is 3. And what does this work out to be? Well, that works out to be 48 pi. Interesting. See? And that's what the volume is. So we know we're good. Guys and girls, thank you so very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Please help us out and like and subscribe. Please. I'd love to help you with more videos, by the way. Check out our channel because we have thousands of videos out there, not only in mathematics, but chemistry and physics as well. We solve specific problems because that's what you're going to see on your test. And that's quite honestly the best way to learn this particular subject and subjects, especially the applied sciences. Don't just sit there and read the notes. You got to be actively problem solving. So take a look at our videos, go to the playlist, try to approach the problem, all right, find the topic you're doing, approach the problem first, and if you struggle, watch the video. And I promise you over time, stuff becomes cake. All right, and it's the fastest way to do it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care.